My in-laws said, "Your house means your bills," while living in my vacant house for free, so I called the utility companies and had everything shut off. My in-laws Ralph and Judy lost their apartment lease and needed somewhere to stay for 2 months while they found a new place. I had a vacant rental house between tenants, so I offered to let them stay there temporarily. No rent, just cover the utilities. They cried with gratitude, saying I saved them from being homeless. Moved in immediately with all their stuff. First month's electric bill came to me instead of them, $400. I forwarded it to Ralph, who said there must be a mistake because the bill should go to the homeowner. I explained they were using the electricity, so they paid for it. That was our agreement. Ralph said he never agreed to that. He agreed to stay in my house. My house meant my bills. He literally thought living somewhere for free meant everything was free. Water bill came next. $300 because Judy had been filling and refilling a hot tub I didn't even know the house had. Ralph said maintaining the property's features was my responsibility as owner. Using the hot tub every day wasn't maintenance, but Ralph didn't see the difference. Gas bill was $500 because they kept the heat at 80 degrees constantly. Ralph said they were elderly and needed warmth. They were both 55 and in perfect health. But again, my house, so my responsibility to keep them comfortable. I showed up with all 3 bills and demanded payment. Judy said if I could afford a second house, I could afford the bills that came with it. I said the bills came with whoever was using the utilities. They said that's not how property ownership worked. Property owners paid for everything. I'd been a landlord for 5 years, and that's never how it worked, but they insisted they knew better. I gave them an ultimatum: pay the $1,200 in utilities or get out. Ralph said I couldn't evict them because they were family. Also, they'd been there over 30 days, which made them tenants with rights. He'd Googled it, but he'd Googled wrong. They weren't tenants because they'd never paid rent or signed anything. They were guests who'd overstayed, and family or not, I could remove them. Ralph tried to get my husband Tom on their side. Tom laughed and said his parents were delusional if they thought free housing meant free everything. Judy cried that Tom was choosing me over them. Tom said he was choosing common sense over entitlement. They refused to leave and refused to pay. So I got creative. I called the utility companies and had everything shut off for non-payment. Electricity gone, water gone, gas gone, all legal because the accounts were in my name and I could disconnect service to my own property. Ralph called screaming that I'd made the house unlivable. I said livable houses require paid utilities and they'd established those were my responsibility. So I decided not to be responsible anymore. They tried staying anyway using candles and bottled water. The neighbors complained about the smell because they couldn't flush toilets without water. The health department got involved, saying the house was uninhabitable. Ralph told them I'd shut off utilities to force them out. The health inspector said whoever lived there needed to restore service or leave. Ralph said I should restore it since I owned the house. The inspector said owners don't pay utilities for occupants. That finally got through Ralph's thick skull. They had to leave that day or be forcibly removed. Packed their stuff and moved to Tom's brother's house. Brother made them sign a lease stating they'd pay all utilities. They signed it, then tried the same thing, saying his house meant his bills. He evicted them after 1 month. They moved to Judy's sister's house. Same story. Refused to pay utilities because they didn't own the property. Sister kicked them out after 3 weeks. Now they're living in their car because nobody will let them stay anywhere. Every family member knows they believe free housing means free everything. They ask to stay with people and everyone says only if they pay utilities. They say that's unreasonable for guests. Everyone says then be guests somewhere else. Tom got a call from Ralph last week asking to stay in our vacant house again. Winter was coming and living in the car was getting cold. Tom said sure. For market rent plus utilities plus security deposit. Ralph said that was extortion. Tom said it was business. Ralph said family should help family. Tom said family should pay their bills. They're still in their car, parked outside the vacant house they could be living in if they'd just paid $1,200 8 months ago. Now that same house rents for $1,500 a month plus utilities to actual tenants who understand how bills work. Ralph and Judy watch the tenants come and go from their car. The tenants pay everything on time and live comfortably. Amazing how that works when you understand that using something means paying for it.